Hi, I'm Tracey, your leading health and nutrition coach and molecular biologist. I've consulted with hundreds of people around the world on their human journey. So if you're a seeker looking for answers, information and knowledge, you'll find it here. Come on a journey with me as I explore the science, the physical body, and the cognitive and energetic space of what it really means to be human. Welcome back, everybody. And oh my gosh, I am so excited for today's episode because I'm going to tell you guys how I have the best night's sleep ever. And don't hate me, but it's true. I actually do. I have usually, I would say 99% of the time, I have the best sleep ever. And I want to share my knowledge with you guys so that you too can have the best sleep ever. I think most nights I'm just out, my head hits that pillow and I am just gone. And it hasn't always been that way. I'm going to tell you that right now. I remember probably quite a few number of years ago now where I would just be so jealous of all of these people who were waking up so refreshed and happy. And I was like, I've just had all of this sleep. Why am I waking up and feeling exhausted all the time? What is going on there? I don't feel like it's ever going to change. And I'm telling you, it will. It would definitely change, but you have to make some changes. And so today what we're going to go through is, what does a good night's sleep feel like? Don't hate me. What are the key issues that prevent people from getting a good night's sleep? And what's the consequences for that? I'm going to give you guys some tips on getting a good night's sleep, what happens during sleep and why it's so important, and some takeaway things. So things that you can implement right now so that you can go to bed tonight and have the best night's sleep ever. How amazing does that sound? Amazing, right? Now, before I start, am going to set up a clause here for new parents, okay? It is nearly impossible for new parents to get a full 7 to 9 hours sleep a night and wake up refreshed, okay? That's pretty much impossible. So please don't go into this and start getting cranky or angry with me if you've just become a new parent, because I'm telling you, you've got other stuff that you need to be working on right now, and it is not worrying too much about your sleep. But if you've got help out there, I suggest that you take it. If you've got an opportunity to sleep. It's the number one thing that they tell you when you get home from the hospital is, whenever that baby is asleep, you should sleep as well. And it's true, okay? You need to get some help. You need to get your sleep. If someone offers to cuddle your baby so you can take a rest, take it, okay? Take the help that's offered to you and the support, because sleep is the most important part of being functional in our life. All right, so on that note, let's look at what a good night's sleep might look like. So how do you know you've had a good night's sleep? Well, normally you should wake up feeling rested. You should have plenty of energy to get you through the day. You should be able to get up straight away without any issues. So there shouldn't be any grogginess there. Okay, you should wake up. Some people will bounce out of bed, and there are times where I wake up and I'm like, oh, wow, I'm awake. Let's get up. There are other times where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm awake. It's time to get up now. And I get up, right? But there shouldn't be any underlying oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted, okay? You should be getting 7 to 9 hours sleep every night. Now, I'm just going to say that that's the typical standard answer that everybody gives you, 7 to 9 hours, but everybody's different. Some people don't need to have all of that sleep, okay? If you are running an ultra clean body and you are functioning and all your systems are working at optimal level, then you probably don't need as much sleep as that, believe it or not, because you don't have a lot of cleaning to do while you're sleeping, okay? Your body isn't having to do all of this extra work while you're asleep. It gets in, it gets out, you wake up and you're feeling refreshed. But majority of people need that 8, 9 hours of sleep every night. And you should be waking up naturally in the morning without an alarm. Okay, I know that's probably really like, what? You're telling me I don't need to set my alarm? I'm not saying that right now you should stop setting your alarm if that's something that you used to, but you should naturally wake up in the morning without the alarm clock, especially between the hours of 5 and 7 a.m. Now, unless you're a shift worker, of course, and you have to get up and work crazy hours. I mean, thank you, nurses, or our paramedics who get out there and are working night shifts until, 3, 4 a.m. Those guys there, they need to set their alarm because they're working against the circadian rhythm. So it makes sense. But if you're a regular person and you're just working, between the regular hours of work time, then you shouldn't need to set your alarm. Okay, so I want you to take an opportunity right now to reflect and to think about, when was the last time you felt as though you had a great night's sleep? Are you waking up on a regular basis energized and refreshed? Do you feel like you can get through the day with plenty of energy? Why or why not? What is your heart telling you right now? What first comes to mind? Because until we ask that question of ourselves, we're going to start procrastinating and we're going to stop prioritizing our sleep. Okay, so I want you to dig deep. What's going on in there? You know the answer to this. You might just be avoiding it. So what are the consequences, though, of not getting a good night's sleep? Right, getting moving in the morning and feeling like you haven't slept at all. This to me indicates something quite serious that's going on for you. Okay, are you super stressed? And so your body isn't fully relaxing. The melatonin production is quite low. Do you have too much on your plate? So you're constantly worrying when you go to bed. Are you doing a few things that we're actually going to talk about very soon and self-sabotaging your sleep? Okay. So all of these things that prevent you, and lead to consequences of not having a good sleep, what is actually the causing factor? And, it could be something quite simple. It could be quite complicated. But the consequences of not getting a good night's sleep is, one, you're waking up groggy. During the day, you're probably struggling to focus. You're getting brain fog and forgetfulness. You might get to the end, like to the early afternoon, and you're needing that sugar pick-me-up, which is not ideal. It's not something that we want to do. That's definitely an energy problem there. Are you irritable? Okay. Are you anxious? Are you feeling depressed? This is definitely one that resonates with me, because if I don't have enough sleep, I'm so irritable. I'm like walking around cranky and like, poor Charlotte. I mean, if I haven't had a good night's sleep, it just takes one little thing. I'm like, why did you put that on the floor for? Pick that up, blah, blah, blah. I mean, poor little thing. But that's the thing, is like, if I'm not looking after myself and I'm not getting a good enough sleep, and I'm waking up cranky, that's on me, right? I'm the reason why I'm letting myself get irritable. Are you feeling sleepy during the day and needing to have naps? Okay, that definitely happens to people who are running in cortisol all the time, or in adrenal fatigue. Okay, that's something to bear in mind. Are you sleeping in a lot and having to press the snooze too often? Okay, these are all consequences of not getting a good enough sleep at night time. So I'm going to try and make this relatively easy for you and tell you some of the issues as to why you're probably not getting a good enough sleep. Okay, I've got 4 here on my little list, because you guys, I love a list, right? And I do have to be prepared so I don't forget anything. So why does all this happen? Okay, so one of the main factors of why you're not getting a good night's sleep is your digestion. Okay, digestive issues are a big one, okay, but specifically having big meals at night time, eating too late at night, eating foods that require a lot of work to digest, eating too many artificial or processed foods, they all play a massive part in your sleep. Okay, so your body, oh my gosh, it's just so amazing in the work that it does. But can you imagine, like, you eat a big meal and you put all of this work into your stomach? Okay, that needs to work through your small intestines, your large intestines, before it's kind of like at the end of the conveyor belt, so to speak, ready to kind of depart, if you understand what I'm saying. So if you're doing that late at night, okay, if you're eating your dinner probably past 8 o'clock at night time, you've just put all of this crazy amount of work on your body. Okay, it's going to start processing in that and go, oh, okay, well, I can't delay that till tomorrow. I probably need to do that now. And so it's going to stay awake, which means you're going to stay awake. And overnight, the digestive system should be asleep. Okay, it shouldn't really be doing all that much at all. Okay, other parts of the body, other systems that are at play need to be going through and scavenging for things that shouldn't be there. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about that, but you guys know that I've talked about this so many times about what happens when we go to sleep. There's so many crucial functions that happen. It's not just about restoring energy. Okay, there's things happening, removing of toxins, cleaning out all of the systems, looking for cancer cells, all sorts of stuff that happens when you are sleeping, storing memories, muscle repair, all of that stuff. And so if you're putting, a huge amount of pressure on your digestive system and keeping it awake, I'm going to tell you it's going to keep everything else awake. And that includes your mind, your brain, your body, everything. So that might be one of the reasons why you're not having a sleep. Something to think about, maybe moving your meal times, not eating as much, at nighttime, having big plates of foods, having snacks afterwards, snacking at nighttime. We all love it. I do it too. Don't worry. I'm guilty, as much guilty as you, myself as you might be as well. What am I snacking on though? Like, this is the thing. Is it easy to break down or is it not easy to break down? Is it processed? Does it come out of a packet? Like, every time you eat something, I really would encourage you to go, how is my body going to break this down this time of night? I know you're not going to do this though, are you? Because who is? I mean, only a nerd like me is going to sit there and go, oh, look at this packet of, how long is it going to take for my body to break that down? It's going to take a really long time. I'm not going to eat that because it's going to keep me awake. No one else is going to sit there and do that. Okay, I'll take it back. But anyway, you kind of get the point. All right, so the next one, phones. Oh gosh, I talk about phones all of the time. Blue lights and distractions, okay? That's one of the biggest things that keeps people awake, okay? It's not just the blue light. So again, I've said so many times how blue light affects the brain, okay, and the release of melatonin. But it's not just that. It's that your phone is a distraction, okay? It's one of those things where you're scrolling through social media or you're reading the news or you're getting caught up in some sort of issue or drama, and then that releases cortisol. It brings on your fight or flight response. Okay, it's keeping you awake by getting yourself absorbed, even if it's like celebrity gossip, okay, or like reality TV or something like that. Okay, you're watching the TV and you're getting caught up in like the show, and so you're firing off all this cortisol at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night without realizing, and you're staying awake because you're putting your body into a stress response. Okay, other things about your phone, like, how many times have you been distracted and realized that it's 11 p.m. on a work night? For some people, that might be a regular time to go to sleep. For me, it's not. I cannot keep my eyes open at 11 o'clock at night. It's like 9:30 maximum. By that stage, I'm like, I'm really falling asleep. Like I've got to actually get the energy to get up from underneath my cozy blanket and move to the bed. That's a big effort for me, right? So, when you go to bed, does your phone beep? Does it flash lights at nighttime when you get a message? Are you constantly on call with your job? Okay, these are all factors as well. I mean, are you able to switch off? Can you put your phone away? It's not just about socializing. It's not just about reading the news. It's about how many other worries and stresses are you adding onto your plate when it is your time for rest. All right, next one. Alcohol and caffeine. So I've thrown these two in together because they're liquids, so I've categorized them, but they're both very different. Okay, alcohol is a toxic substance on the body, okay, and the body won't rest until it's metabolized and it's removed and until it's no longer an issue. Okay, so we all, it's a socially accepted thing, obviously. We go out, we have a meal, we have some wine, we have some alcohol, whatever that looks like for you, and that's fine. But I just want you to bear in mind that every time you drink alcohol, you put pressure on the body to detox. Okay. And then when that happens, everything else that's supposed to happen at nighttime gets put in the backlog. Okay. It won't happen when there's alcohol in the body. When there's alcohol present, the body goes on high alert and it goes, oh my God, ding, 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 ding. I've got all this crap in here. I've got to get rid of it. Quick, 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 quick. Everybody come and help me. Okay. And it puts the body under such high pressure to remove it that your body is then not resting and recovering. It's not repairing. It's not storing memories. How many times have you had a big night and then you can't remember what you did? Okay, right? We've all lived through our 20s. Maybe some of you are 20 now and you're experiencing this. Okay, this is why. All right, your body doesn't have the capacity to store memories if you're clouding it with toxic substances. Okay, that's just part of it. Okay, it's definitely not scavenging around for cancer cells or bad cells or toxins because it's trying to eliminate the toxin that you've just put in there. So I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. That's, enjoy your life, but everything in moderation. If you're drinking every night to take the edge off, and trust me, I've been there. When I became a new mum, it was freaking hard, right? And so you get to the end of the day like, oh, I'm just gonna have a drink. I deserve it. I've earned it. Like, I don't care what anyone else is doing right now. I'm gonna have this drink, right? But little did I realize all that time ago how much pressure I was putting in the body and how every morning I was waking up tired, that was a big part of the reason why. Okay, so something to think about. Caffeine is a stimulant, okay? So, it's not as extreme as alcohol, of course. And look, I'm drinking coffee now. So for everyone who's watching online and seeing my video, like I've got a coffee here and I love my coffee. My favorite is a long macchiato topped up. It's the best and I enjoy the crap out of it. But I also know that I can't drink any caffeine probably after 2:00 in the afternoon because it keeps me awake. It takes like 6 to 7, 8 hours for it to be metabolized out of the body. So it is a stimulant. It's going to keep you awake. And so if you're drinking caffeine, particularly in the afternoon, or, it's very European to, go out for dinner and then have like an espresso after, it's going to keep you awake. Okay. That's the reality. Okay. The next one and the final one is stress. This is a big one as well. Okay, the other three are just as important, but this is a big one. Okay, because a lot of the things that you're actually doing to the body is causing stress as well. And so if you've constantly got cortisol firing and you're in adrenal fatigue, you need a lot of rest. Okay, so for people who are in burnout or overwhelmed, you actually need to hit that bed really hard and really fast and try and rebuild your adrenal glands. Okay, it's time to start managing your stress levels. Okay, are you constantly firing cortisol? Are you constantly running from a tiger? Okay, do you have things and situations in your life that are really causing detrimental nighttime habits for you? Okay, I really would encourage you to revise this and just to see how you can manage your stress levels more effectively so that you can get a good night's sleep. Okay, there are so many roller coasters to life. Okay, just because I'm sitting in my position now and, I'm a coach and I'm in this role because of my experiences in this life as well. I'm a scientist, I worked in the corporate, I had a family, and all of these things made me realize that there's a certain limitation to the things that I can manage and I can deal with at any one time. Okay, it's just the reality of it. I wish that I could be on and switched on 24/7 and go and be super productive. But the reality is if I maintain that for a certain period of time, I always crash and burn. I have repeated that cycle time and time and time and time again. So if you're listening to this and this is something that you're going through right now, hopefully you'll take something away from this and go, you know what? I just have too much on my plate. I am firing those poor little adrenal glands constantly, cortisol and adrenaline and blah. They have just got too much stuff and now is the time I have to stop. But life has its way of, working these things out. And we all go through periods of time where everything happens at once and there's just no way around that. We have tragedies, we have traumas, we have people pass away, people get sick, we have huge amounts of work. Everything seems to happen at once. And so if you're in a position to try and manage some of this stress, I would highly encourage you to look at that and see what things you can put in place, what things you can remove that aren't a priority, because if you're getting good night's sleep, you are going to be more rested, okay? You're going to feel more energized and you are going to make better decisions when you wake up. All right. How's everyone feeling after all of that so far? Okay, so here's my tips. I'm going to give you guys some tips now that we've gone through all of the stuff. Here's all of the tips for you. So, best night's sleep tips ever. When you've truly experienced a great night's sleep, there's really nothing you'll do to keep away from experiencing that again, right? I love my sleep. So, number one, my first tip is to make your sleep a priority. Yeah? Make it a priority. So, I don't get FOMO for missing TV. I don't drink alcohol. I don't sit up at night playing games or socializing, or I just can't do it. I have learnt over and over and over again that when I slip into those old patterns, it always ends the same way. I always end up exhausted when I wake up. So I have to sleep and I have to make sure that I'm not on my phone at nighttime past 8 p.m. I have to. So it's about making it a priority, and it's about committing to that priority and what that looks like for you. Maybe that's not an option right now, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be. You're different to me. You're unique. You're your own person, okay? Maybe that's just not achievable for you right now, but it's something for you to think about, okay? About making it a priority. You spend a third of your life in bed, like a third of your life. You need that time. There's a reason why you need that time, and it is to rest and recover and repair. All right. Tip number 2, exercise. Yay, exercise. Exercise burns some of your energy in the morning, okay? It helps set you up for a great night's sleep because you're actually tired when you go to bed and your body is excited to get its rest, okay? So exercise has so many benefits for so many different reasons, but when you're in the habit of exercising regularly, your sleep will definitely improve so much. Now, perhaps start slow, okay, but it's about the commitment and about understanding how important it is. So I'm not saying you have to get up right now and, go run marathons and train for marathons. If you do, if this is like the catalyst for that, well, kudos to you. That's freaking awesome. But I'm not saying that, but you have to prioritize exercise, okay? So another tip I'm going to give you, I prioritize exercise into my daily schedule for 1 hour every single day. There is nothing that I will put above my exercise. I will never compromise it. I have to have 1 hour of exercise every single day. Okay, I have to, because it helps me sleep really well. It helps me burn fat cells. It helps release toxins. It keeps my cardio, my heart nice and healthy. Okay, it releases all of those feel-good endorphins. There are so many reasons to exercise and we don't get enough. Okay, that's one of the major problems with sleep, is that we're just not using the body. We're not moving it. We're not exercising it. So you might be listening to this and you go, okay, Tracey, I'm going to go to sleep tonight. I'm going to go to bed at 9:30. And then you go there and you're laying there and you're twiddling your thumbs. It's because you just haven't burnt off enough energy, right? You might have stresses, but that aside, but maybe you just haven't used enough of your energy in the right ways. And so your body is craving for you to actually go out and do some movement. And it doesn't have to be anything specific. It can be whatever makes you happy, whatever brings you joy. It doesn't have to be what I do. You guys would see on Insta regularly, I cycle. That's my thing. I love it. It's like you can burn lots of, calories really quickly, but I just love the way that it makes me feel. I love sweating and just like getting into it and smashing it out. It makes me feel good. It's not for everybody. Okay, it's not for everybody, but there must be something that you can do that is going to make you feel happy. And any sort of exercise that releases endorphins past that 20-25 minute mark is going to make you happy. It's going to increase your mood. It's going to make you so much more well-rounded as an individual. All right. My next tip, intimacy. If you haven't exercised, then there's a few exercises that you can do at nighttime to get you there, if you know what I mean. So humans want and need intimate connection with their partner, okay? We crave this. We crave touch. We crave to be understood. We crave to be heard and to be seen. Having intimate time with your partner is so important to your relationship. Okay, so it should take a priority over TV, phones, computers, work. I would really encourage you, if this is something that you really need from your partner or they need from you, that you explore that and look into that a little bit more. Because having intimacy is not just about the connection, it's about all of the chemicals that are released at the time as well. That beautiful oxytocin production that's happening that is going to rest you, especially in times of stress, okay? We need that connection. We need to feel connected. Something to think about. All right, next one, magnesium. Oh my gosh, I love magnesium. It is so amazing for so many different processes. But you know what? Typically, the majority of people are deficient. So many people are deficient in magnesium. I'm going to throw out the common knowledge of magnesium is involved in like 300 or more chemical processes in the body. But it's so much more than that, okay? It's so much more than just being a chemical process. Yes, it's a little transporter molecule that goes in between the cells and makes things happen, but it increases your mood, okay? It increases your mood. It helps with depression, okay? It's involved in your muscle repair. It's involved in your memories. It's involved in brain health and fogginess and all of those things. Okay, magnesium is amazing. So if you haven't considered that you might be deficient in magnesium, I want you to go and speak with your healthcare provider and check it out. Okay, it's fine to have a magnesium bath, but because a lot of people say, I'm really stressed or I'm really sore, go have a magnesium bath. Yeah, okay, that's great. But some people still need more than that. A magnesium bath is just not going to cut it. It's not going to be enough. And many people need to have it orally or topically. Okay, you can get some beautiful melatonin and magnesium lotions that you can apply to your skin at bedtime, and that's going to allow it to be absorbed through the cells, okay, and put you into a nice restful sleep. But some people need it more than just having a bath. Okay, so something to consider there as well. Do you know how your magnesium levels are looking? I would really love for you guys to go and check that out. All right. Now, my final one here is finish work on time and stop working at night. No one can keep up with work commitments all day and into the night for long periods of time without there being a consequence. I know this myself, right? You've only got a limited amount of energy. Okay, you're not expected to keep working. If you've got a workplace that expects you to work after work hours and then be on call and all of that high demanding noise, and it is affecting you, I would reconsider that position. I just would. I mean, sleep and your health is so important. I mean, you're not going to be good for anyone or for anything if you're not looking after your body, you're not looking after your health. You're eventually going to go into burnout, and then what's going to happen? So I really want you to consider, if you're working at nighttime, putting a boundary on yourself, putting a time limit on that, or what that looks like, so that you can start detaching from the day, detaching from all of the work commitments and the workload, and actually come back into yourself and see how you're traveling, okay? Maybe you don't see the consequences because you're working and you feel fine, but what about your family? Okay, what about your partner? Do they want to cuddle up with you at night time? Do they need some of your attention as well? It's something to think about, okay? So what happens when you do get a good night's sleep? Okay, what happens during that sleep time? Okay, your body can rebuild, it can repair, it can restore exactly how it's supposed to. Okay, it can make sure that it's scavenging for bad cells and toxins and get rid of them out of the body. When you get a good night's sleep, it has a knock-on effect all over the place. You feel better, you're nicer to those that you love, and they will see the difference in you. Heavy, but not heavy, right? Reflection time. What are some of the things you can do right now to make sure that you have a great night's sleep tonight? I'm going to leave you with that thought. Surely there is something right now that you can do to make sure that you are having a good night's sleep tonight. Okay? And if you think, I'm fine, I'm powering on, this is all good, think about the other people that have to live with you. Think about what's happening with them and how it might be affecting them as well. And maybe there might be a little wiggle room in there to make a little personal adjustment. All right, everyone. So that's all. That is my chat on sleep and how I get the best night's sleep ever. And I'm going to have the best night's sleep ever tonight. And I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. And if you feel as though there's someone in your life that needs to hear this or might value some of the tips, tools, strategies that I've just discussed, share it with them. Please share it with them. Give them, an opportunity to make a change, a positive change, to increase their health. Let's increase the health of our community and our tribe. Let's get the information out there so that we can all shine, we can all be healthy, and we can all live for as long as we possibly can. If you're loving this podcast, I'm loving, I do know I just said loving. If you're really enjoying my podcast, please leave me a 5-star review. That would be amazing. I would value that so much because this is free. It's a free information, okay? And I genuinely want you guys to live happier, healthier, and more optimal, shineful lives, okay? So pass it on to family and friends, leave me a review, and then until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.
The information, views and opinions expressed on this podcast should not be used or treated as a substitute for nutritional, medical, psychological or other advice by a qualified medical health professional. Hosts and guests on the podcast express their own opinions, experiences and conclusions. And nothing on the podcast should be used to diagnose, treat, cure or prevent any medical conditions. The podcast is not intended to replace any medical or mental health treatment. All information and advice provided is for general well-being and does not take individual cases into consideration. Neither Tracey Saltis, guests on the podcast, or any sponsors endorse the opinions, views or conclusions expressed or shared on the podcast. Tracey Saltis takes no responsibility for any symptoms or consequences as a direct or indirect result of this podcast.